morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone out there. We're super excited to visit with you about our new Headless Engine, which is one of the most exciting things that we've done in quite a while. It's a thrill to be able to share this information with you, and I'm sure at the very end, if anyone's got any questions, we'll be happy to help out. This is Jay. I'm with commerceBuild, and we're super proud to be a Sage Tech Partner Plus. What that little indicator means is that authorized by Sage. We're actually the only authorized by Sage full e-commerce suite inside of Sage 300 and Sage X3 and on the Sage price list. So commerceBuild, who are we? Our whole world revolves around connecting your customers to your customers. That's a funny little thing there to say, but connecting every customer together to the heart of every business. And instead of being an adjunct level integration, ours is a fully and very deep ERP integration for e-commerce. A couple things about our advantage that are reasons why people come to us. It is that native ERP integration. We've been proud to be doing this since 2006 for Sage 300 and since 2011 for Sage X3. As a matter of fact, inside of X3, we are embedded in the feed folders, and so easy for us to not just be again a plug-in or a connector, but an actual integrated part of Sage X3. We think of things being able to be cost effective, so we try to do fixed fee implementations. We think that we've got very fair pricing relative to the value we bring, but most importantly is the 24 hours a day, 7 days a week global support. We follow the sun, so the team that is in their native workday, meaning in the states right now, is the one that's going to be answering your calls. The aspect of that 24/7 global support we think is really important because no matter what time it is, day or night around the world, we want to make sure our customers have the very best people available to help them out, and particularly help them out in the event of some kind of an emergency. One of the aspects of our advantage, though, is also we are experts at the ERPs. We've been involved with Sage 300 and X3 so long that our teams are able to troubleshoot things not even necessarily related to what it is that may be a problem on our store. And we view that as a super critical advantage that we're proud to shout out. So the whole aspect here is thinking of how you reduce hand key entries into your ERP and allow a much more efficient and a much better way to automate your sales process that allows you to sell around the clock and have your customers be able to serve, which is exciting just for them to look at inventory and pricing, locations, et cetera, et cetera. But that ultimately leads you to an enhanced customer experience, all driven by that real-time data synchronization inside of 300 and X3. And what our customers tell us is that there are instances of great revenue growth that they get as a result from this. But even without that, just the efficiencies that are gained from being able to have an integrated e-commerce solution allows them to get some efficiencies in that automation of the sales process. So we've got a couple of things here. We've been known for B2B and B2C integrated e-commerce for a long time. We've launched a sales portal, which is a great method for internal employees to quickly order on behalf of their customers, and that's one which is an exciting product because that does allow more people to have the opportunity to place orders in an easy to use e-commerce engine, much like they'd be ordering off of Amazon as opposed to going into the ERP. We also have a customer portal that allows paying open invoices and shipment information and all the things that normally you'd be responding to a phone call or a fax machine. And what we're launching today is our Headless Engine, and I'll get into that in just a second. Before I do so, I think it'd be important to kind of share some things about other e-commerce platforms that are out there. And there's no shortage of different standalone or relevant platforms that one could take a look at. Shopify Plus are super prevalent. Woo's prevalent. Magento and BigCommerce are prevalent. Squarespace, but there's a big problem with all those that are standalone, and they're built and maintained separate from the ERP. So effectively, there's two different databases. There's two different there's two different sources of truth. It's not a single source of truth. It's relying upon some mechanism for data to get from Sage via a connector into an e-commerce database. And with that, some of the platforms won't even allow to go very deep into financials. So if someone has a credit hold, they would allow the order to go through. Some of the other platform products here, we've got Woo at the very top, and we'll talk about our utilization of Woo. But the big piece here is you've got an identical amount of data, and that data can get kind of messy, when there's a database for Shopify, for example, and a database for Sage. For Shopify wants to make their platform the center of the universe, and if you're relying upon your ERP for all things of your business, when an EDI order comes in, that inventory level adjustment in all likelihood won't make it over to Shopify or BigCommerce. So what we're doing is instead of that, thinking of how to stop some of these problems that people that just use a connector. There are instances of order entry errors. There's instances of orders not making it into the ERP via the connector because it's a batch process. There's times where a customer thinks that they're getting something that is in stock, but it isn't, and all the way through, it just creates a less than efficient way for clients to be able to order online. What we've done is build out a mechanism that we're using the center of the universe of Sage for pricing, inventory, the customer data, accounting, complex business logics, the sales teams, everything that is centered to Sage and would be utilized by somebody logged into Sage. We're making that an extension, and commerceBuild completes the wheel. And what we have today are two forms of that completion. One form is the CMS integration that we've had for a long time, and it's proving very very valuable for our partners and customers. And then we're adding on top of that the same integration engine, but it'll be connected to the front end or the display level of how people can build stores with WooCommerce and WordPress. So that's the exciting news that we're having. The integration is at the same level of integration as our current product. The aspect of it being embedded in V11 and V12 for X3 is still there. And what we're using are rich APIs that are bringing forward all of that data over into WooCommerce. Many of you may use WooCommerce along with WordPress, or maybe just WordPress out there. And what our customers shared with us is that it would be great that they could actually utilize that investment they've made with WordPress and WooCommerce and utilize that with us. So we have what's called a headless engine, and I won't go too much into the details technically of this, but basically what it's doing is the best of two worlds. The best of our e-commerce engine world and the best of WordPress and WooCommerce together. And all of that gives you the identical streamlined order processing and the identical real-time data synchronization and the real-time level of what we're doing with your ERP. A couple of folks have asked, well, why did you choose Woo? And I'll be very open about it. We chose Woo because our internal customer support team and teams overall come from a Woo and WordPress background. So in a prior life, they were all experts in WordPress and WooCommerce. And with that expertise, it was a natural way that we could continue to have that high bar of customer satisfaction, high bar for 24/7 support, and take skills that our members of our support team have had for tens of years. All added up, it's probably 50 years total of experience with WordPress, WooCommerce, and obviously they've been around us with commerceBuild's. So it's been a great way to make that addition. In the future, we'll likely be doing some other approaches to headless, but for right now, it's WordPress and WooCommerce that we're perfecting. So at this time, I'm going to pass this over to Donovan for a demo, and then we'll get back to wrap it all up when he's finished with a couple of other things and see if we can answer some questions. Donovan, you want to take it away?
Yeah, I will. Thank you, Jay. I know some of you, just looking at the names in the attendee list. So nice to see you again. What I wanted to show you, of course, was our WordPress and WooCommerce integration with the same platform that you know and love, and you've come to understand is very tightly integrated with the ERP. So things like pricing, stock levels, product information, all these data points are at our core, and those remain unchanged. And for those that don't know a little bit about me, I actually came from the customer side. I know many of you know this story, but I was a customer of commerceBuild's for about 6 years before I came over to commerceBuild to work here. I've been here for almost 3 years. So I've got about 9 years of experience, but I've got, my first foray into the Sage environment was with ACPAC. Obviously that turned into Sage 300. When I first started working as a customer, we actually had an e-commerce system in place back in 2002. And I think I went through 4 different e-commerce platforms before landing on commerceBuild. We started out using commerceBuild with Sage 300 as a platform, as our ERP. And then in 2016, we changed over to using Sage X3. So, I've got the kind of the best of both worlds in terms of using those ERPs as a customer and also integrating it with commerceBuild. So I know exactly what a customer goes through in terms of sales rep interactions, customer portal interactions, sales, the processes on the back end, and so forth. So doing demos and things like that with our customers here at commerceBuild and prospects, what we came to realize is that WordPress was something that a lot of our customers were already using for their content management system. So it really made sense in a lot of aspects, kind of building on what Jay said in terms of our customer support having the ability to support and maintain a WordPress and WooCommerce environment. It's made sense in the sense that our customers were already using WordPress as their page building kind of experience for their just page content. So kind of marrying the two worlds just made sense. What I wanted to show you here today is I know that you probably know our core features and values, but I wanted to touch on the things that we've enhanced, the things that we've made better because of this integration. So it's not just the ability for us to integrate with WordPress, so you can use whatever theme builder you want, whatever plugins and extensions you want from the WordPress and WooCommerce ecosystem, but it's also about being able to take that data from your ERP and actually use that anywhere you want to within your site. So where you may have been deadlocked before in terms of being able to put data point A in this location, you can now put those things kind of wherever you want to, and that's something that's really key to this integration. So you'll see right off, I've got logged in as I'm user commerceBuild. My account is 1201. This happens to be connected to a Sage 300 system. You'll see I've got a credit used. So this is something that in the WordPress ecosystem is called a shortcode. And it's just a block of information, a block of data that can be placed in multiple locations more than once. It can be placed in various locations on a page or pages. You can restrict certain shortcodes based on the user or other data points. So it really elevates your ability to customize the experience based on the user that's logged in. And you'll see that if I scroll down, for example, I've got a customized banner that says, "Hey, Donovan, enjoy 20% off." So, maybe you can use this as a marketing advantage. Maybe you want to display something based on the referral. So if someone clicked the link in a Google advertisement, you can pick that up and now display something very special to that user that only they get to see. And you'll see this if I switch the user, just like our existing commerceBuild platform, you can very easily type in customer code, someone's name, email address, and I can assume that user. So, maybe I'm a sales rep. I need to help a user out. I can log in on their behalf. Maybe I've got them on the phone. Maybe I'm on site with that customer. Maybe I want to build a shopping cart for them. Maybe I want to build a wish list or put something in their compare page. And I'll show you those elements here in a moment. But you'll notice I scroll down, and now that same banner is customized to Daniel, not Donovan. So it knows who I am. And this is a very simple example of a banner, just having a name change. But you can use your imagination and think of other ways, more complex ways to utilize this to a customer's advantage in terms of marketing to various groups of or types of customers. We no longer really see the divide between a B2C and B2B customer. It's really about just that customer experience. It doesn't matter who you are coming to the website. Customers these days, in 2024 particularly, they want to see the same data points. They want to track their shipments. They want to see all the things that, if you're a B2C user, that B2B users would have at their disposal. Things like quick order, for example, which I'll show you here in a moment. And B2B users want that same B2C aspect of the website too. They want the marketing materials in terms of, how-to sheets, for example, because it makes it easier to support their customers. So I'm going to kind of travel around. I'm going to go back to my original user. And this is an admin account, of course, but you can have different types of users. So we'll go into kind of the customer portal. That's where a lot of our customers start. It's just a view portal. So if I go in transactions, you'll quickly see that this screen has been revamped, and it's now actually customizable. So where I have data points coming from the ERP, maybe as a user or an admin, I want to restrict, what someone can and can't see. So, maybe I don't want to see a lot of these fields. Maybe I want to just see certain ones. You'll see that in real time, it's redrawing the screen, redrawing the table. If I left this page and came back, it would remember what myself as a user logged in has set what's important to me. That's important, and that's a kind of a theme that will persevere and stay consistent across the user's journey in this WooCommerce system. So you can drag and drop columns. If I want to search, if I'm a B2B user, I want to search for a PO number for historical invoices. You can type that number or partial and drill right into the particular line that you're interested in. And of course, you can go into that transaction and see all the details of, how many were shipped, was a discount applied, the unit of measure, the pricing per unit, that sort of thing. And then, of course, you can export this as Excel or CSV. Maybe you want to print it as a PDF, copy it to your clipboard. It's really a cool customer portal that's exposed more of those data points from your Sage system that you can really highly customize based on the user and the type of user that's using the system. All right, so moving on, I wanted to show you quick order next because people start out with a customer view portal, and then we have an advanced customer portal that adds things like quick order here. We've taken the time to really level up the quick order as well. So it's not only available to B2B customers, it's just available to everyone now if you want it to be as an admin of the site. So let's just search, for example, I've got a highlighter in here. If I search high, then I'm going to come back with a few results. So I'm going to come back with a box of highlighters. I'm going to come back with a single unit of highlighters. I'm also going to come back with a high back arm tilter chair in a couple different colors. But let's say, for example, I'm a sales rep and I don't exactly know, I've got a partial SKU and I've got part of a name. So I'm going to type 50 IG. Well, you'll see when I do that, it automatically finds anything that matches what I'm typing in. So I can continue that and type in ER, and you'll see it, it still gives me those results. So I'm actually going to do tilter, and that will give me the chair that I'm actually looking for. You can quickly see that I don't have a price for that, so I've got a call to get pricing on this. If I had a price, like the highlighter, for example, and actually that was the wrong one. Add that to the cart. Let's go to the box. So you'll see when I put the box in, it gives me a price of $5.80. Tells me how many are available. The really cool thing here is that number available is depending on the warehouses that may be set to my user. So I want to show you what that looks like, because every user can have a single warehouse, maybe it's multiple warehouses, but you get to set that within Sage, within our ecosystem, of what warehouses and what information that user sees. So maybe you want them to see how many are on PO. Maybe you want them to see how many are on sales orders or committed. Maybe you just want them to see how many are on hand. I'm kind of viewing everything here as an admin, but my user is set to see anything in warehouses 1 through 4. So, maybe you have a user that they only see warehouses 1 and 3. When they place the order, we're using this in the sales order process as well. So let's imagine that a user has their warehouses set in a particular order. That user, when they place an order, it's going to use that order of warehouses to actually deduct quantity from when it comes into Sage 300 or Sage X3 or Sage Intacct. So that's really important, because you may have customers that are on the West Coast. Maybe they need to pull from the West Coast warehouse first, but you don't want them to not get their complete stock. So maybe you have the East Coast warehouse as a secondary. So it's going to be smart enough to pull the inventory from the correct location for that particular customer. You'll see that I've also got some additional information. So this is something we've always had. We've always been able to display custom fields, optional fields inside the product screen, but now we've actually integrated it with some ERPs. For Sage 300 and Sage Intacct, for example, we're able to take those product attributes, or in Sage 300, the product optional fields, and automatically display those for that product. So you'll see here, I'm using the test data. Some of these product optional fields will look familiar to you. If you've got dangerous, extended warranty available, the item type, that sort of thing. This information is pulling from Sage 300. So when you add an optional field, when you make a change to an optional field inside of Sage 300 or Sage Intacct or whatever the ERP happens to be, it's going to change this data. There's no more having to export that data and import it into our system. It's just going to update in near real time. And by near real time, I mean during the next sync update, which is typically within 1 to 2 minutes. And this information can be displayed based on the type of product, the product category, all sorts of data points. So just because you have that product optional field inside of Sage 300 doesn't mean you can't dictate what gets displayed and what doesn't get displayed for different types of users. It's all very highly customizable. You can see here I've got a 5% discount because I'm logged in as a user that gets a 5% discount. So again, just like our core value of being truly integrated with the ERP, we're showing the price that user would get if you were a sales rep entering that customer's information and then filling out a sales order inside of the ERP for that particular customer. Right. Moving on. wanted to show you, or at least go over some of the enhanced integration points that you're now able to do. So because this is WordPress and WooCommerce, you kind of have the entire world of those two ecosystems plus the commerceBuild ecosystem. So what that gives you is the ability to really use our headless architecture to extend this platform even further. So now you have access to create a REST API for WooCommerce, for example. So now if you want to create a custom integration with a CRM, then you can very easily create credentials and authorization token for a REST API for that particular application, even if it's a custom one. And then now you have access to not only the WordPress and WooCommerce data, but by proxy, you have access to all of that really important ERP data as well. And not only do you have REST API, you also have the ability to now use webhooks. So let's say, for example, you're running Sage CRM that has an API that's exposed. So now you can set a trigger so that when a customer places an order in the system, that trigger is now set off. It sends a webhook out to Sage CRM, and now you have whatever data points you need in order to make that entry into Sage CRM. So really valuable from an integration standpoint. It's something we've wanted to offer for a really long time, and I'm really happy that we're now able to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and add one of these to the cart, and I wanted to show you, just the checkout process and the revamp there. So now you can have things like mini carts where you can have, like a kind of in-your-face related products, or maybe you're trying to upsell, cross-sell. This is really highly customizable out of the box, but you can also, again, utilize extensions and plugins from third parties now to enhance the experience. And that's something that a lot of our customers have asked for a really long time. Can you integrate with things like MailChimp or HubSpot? Can you customize this? Can you customize that? And now we're able to say, yes, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and view the cart. And you'll see that in this case, I've got a subtotal, I've got shipping amounts. You'll see how much I'm saving as a customer. I don't have tax being calculated here because I'm a B2B customer. I'm tax exempt. But if you had tax for this particular customer, we can do a multitude of things. We can pull from an Avalara integration for tax calculation. That's really important in the US. If you have tax tables inside of Sage 300, we can utilize those as well. So maybe you're a Canadian company and you have it's a lot simpler tax. You just have the tax tables inside of Sage 300. Well, we can read those tax tables and then relay that information here over to WooCommerce. You can also put the tax tables inside of WooCommerce. And there's also other tax integrations as well that would be possible to integrate with to give you tax information. In terms of shipping, I mean, that really remains a key ingredient of what we've been able to handle from a really simple implementation all the way up to very complex implementations. And we're still able to do that. And in fact, we're probably able to do quite a bit more now that we can also integrate with really any shipping carrier that has a plugin or extension for WooCommerce, which WooCommerce powers a large percentage of the e-commerce system that's out there. It's kind of neck and neck with Shopify, meaning that you have, I think the last count I did was 56,000 plugins available within that ecosystem. So a large portion of those are things like marketing and integration with CRMs and things, but there's also a lot of really good payment providers, shipping integrations, things like that. So you can do everything from doing free shipping all the way up to crate management here, where you specify the box size and things like that that are attributed to a certain product. So I touched on payment gateway. So I wanted to kind of elaborate on that. When I go to the checkout here, you'll see I've got a few different plugins for WooCommerce installed. you'll see I've got multiple ones, in fact. So I could check out with Fortis, for example, or PayFabric, or this one is Stripe. Kind of the point being is that as long as there is a payment gateway plugin for WooCommerce, we can now integrate with that. So that means, previously unavailable to us gateways like authorize.net, for example, are now available to use because they have a plugin. So I'm just going to go ahead and use Stripe. I'm going to put in the credit card manually. And this is a sandbox system, so this is just going to be the four with the following ones. And you'll see we can do things like ACH, we can do PO, all sorts of things. Before I place this order, I did want to touch on, we have the ability to do quotes. So if you create the quote, it's going to give a confirmation page to the customer. It's going to email the details to them. It gives you a chance as a sales rep or a store owner, store admin, operations, whatever, to go in, maybe negotiate with the customer a little bit. The customer replies to the email they get and says, can you give 5% off on this particular product? You can go in, you can give 5% off. And then they can go in, or you can go in and convert that to an order. So they can say, yep, I approve it, looks good. And then it's going to email them and ask them for payment if they're not a terms customer. And that kind of brings them to a page that looks very much like this, where they put their payment in. And now that payment is attributed to that particular order, whether it's captured up front or pre-authorized or on terms. So I'm going to go ahead and place the order here. And at this point, it's going to place that order inside of Sage 300. And I'm going to get a reference number. This order number is kind of a web reference number. We do get an order number generated for Sage 300 in this case, or whatever the ERP happens to be ultimately. But this 2070 is actually the number that will end up in the reference field. And if I log in, go to order entry, and I'm using the web screens. Of note, this does require the web API, which these days I find a lot of partners are kind of just installing by default. But we do require at least 2016 version of the web APIs. So if I go to order number, and this is the last one, you'll see the reference number of 2070. So this is the order I just placed. And you'll see that, here is the item that I purchased, $6.39. And at this point, I can process this order. And as I process it, the status of the order, maybe it's a tracking number, the method of shipment, all that's going to get relayed in real time back to that customer portal I was showing earlier. I wanted to show you here, this is the Sage Intacct integration actually, but this is a product that has price lists set up inside of Sage Intacct in this case. I'm logged out. You'll see I have a price of $1,000, $539. So if I log in, what you're going to see, let me do that real quick. What you're going to see is that price change, but you're also going to see additional data displayed because now, I get a contract price with price breaks. So that price went down to $1339.96, and now you'll see I get a block. It's a short code of price breaks that are applied to my account. So when you set these price lists, price breaks, customer information, again, this is just showing that this is relayed back to our system and then made available immediately for the customer. So that any changes you do in the ERP are going to be reflected correctly back to the customer. Right. Again, because this is a WordPress integration, you are able to very easily customize this particular page, for example. So if I wanted to customize the experience, different themes and things are going to have different types of options, but most end up looking like this, where it really is a what you see, what you get environment. So I can very easily come in here and edit and say, I want to see the title on this page, or I don't want to see the title. Maybe I want to change the font or the color. Those things are very, very easy to now do without having to get us involved, without having to get an agency involved. Customers really have the power in their hands to now to do things at their leisure. We have done a couple of things in terms of how data flows between the systems. So customer creation, for example, when you create a customer inside of the ERP, that customer is now created inside of the web store. So what that means is, you create an AR customer, you assign them to a price list. Maybe they get an email that says, hey, welcome to ABC Corporation. They can immediately set up their account, get their password set up, and immediately when they log in, they're going to see their pricing if you have assigned them special pricing. They're going to see their shipping addresses if you've set that up based on a phone call or being on site, for example. They're going to see their order history. They're able to hit the ground running. You don't have to create an account for them. It's just based on that ERP information, that integration again. Things like order creation, when an order previously in our current system would fail, the customer would have to go in. They would have to resend that order. Maybe your Sage 300 was on a maintenance window, for example. So now we will queue those up and we will auto send. So if it doesn't go in because your Sage 300 system is restarting, for example, it will attempt to resend those a number of times on a delayed interval scheduler until it goes in. Of course, you can manually go in and send that at any time, but it's those little things that we've really tried to tweak and make better. Just conscious of time and wanting to make sure that we have plenty of time for Q&A, I'll hand this back over to Jay for any Q&A that you may have. There's a lot to show here. Happy to jump on a demo with you and with a customer as well to show you around in a more depth conversation. But I hope this has been valuable for everyone that's joined. Jay?
We got to hit that mute button. Thanks so much for that there, Donovan. Yeah, glory of technology here today. All right, let me flip back over to that presentation real quick, and we can dive back into that. There we go. All right, hopefully that's up on screen now.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah. So look, we've got a big network of pieces that make the overall e-commerce experience really great, and this is just a list of many of them. What we've done is have the effort to be accommodating to a litany of payment processors, a litany of payment gateway options, a litany of shipping options, and always trying to stay on the forefront of enabling success for our customers. So this is just one small example of even a much larger realm of network. And sometimes there's things that aren't even present that we'll be doing in the future that we can add to this list. So excited to do that as well with our headless WooCommerce. One other piece that I touched on before, but I just want to reiterate is the pride that we have with enabling 5-star support for our customers. We close every ticket with a survey, and if you're not a 4 or 5, we definitely want to see what we can do to make it a 4 or 5. We prefer to be 5s, obviously, for for an Uber rating, but at the same time, the interaction with our team, because we have a team that is focused upon customer care, is getting to know the frontline people that do the work. This is a quote from Margie Sconza at Sconza Chocolates, and they do a bunch of things in the chocolatier area. They're the nation's largest independent chocolatier, not Hershey's, not Mars. And what she said is that Jess, one of our leads on the customer service team, are literally the best support we have of in our many platforms. They're so helpful and quick to respond. It's scary. This one's a fun one because Margie sends gift bags to all of our team for a job well done of scones and chocolates, and one that we are super excited about. I mentioned this before, but having an SLA that is not just a target, it's an absolute goal. We want to respond to tickets within 1 hour during business days, and the advantage there is a business day in the UK. One of those flags up there starts a whole lot earlier than a business day and Pacific West Coast, and likewise a business day down in New Zealand, which is the flag on the upper right. But we've got a team that is dedicated to providing this support and maniacal about it. Look, it's software, so things don't always work. But what we try to do is a great job of having a consistent level of support and enabling success for you to have a very powerful e-commerce engine. So that being said, let's go ahead and flip into Q&A. If there's any questions that we could answer, either myself or Donovan, happy to do so. I see a couple of them have gone in here, and we can get back in. Do you have any customers live using the Headless commerceBuild WooCommerce engine? And the answer is yes. We absolutely have a number of customers live. It is another new factor for us of actually providing our platform for Intacct as well. And so one of our live customers is on Intacct. They were a Sage 300 customer and moved over to Intacct. We do also have in the Intacct category one of the SDMO customers that'll be going live in the not too dim distant future. But to answer your question, yes, we do have some customers that are using the platform today. So this isn't a vaporware. This is people that are actively having their customers place orders and be able to have a great efficiency there. Hope that answers that question. I've got a couple more that have come in, and then Megan, if you don't mind, just checking to see if there's any others. Do I need to have a WooCommerce expert designer on my team to utilize commerceBuild's Headless Engine? And the answer there is no. No, you do not. If you don't, that is a function that we can take on and enable success for you. If you'd like to have help in selecting somebody, maybe as a part-time designer work on your behalf, you can do so, and we'll give you some names of folks that we've worked before. Or it's a flexible thing where we can certainly train you to be able to do the work that will be the daily care and feeding of your store, because of the ease of use of WooCommerce and the power that WooCommerce brings to the table. Excuse me. Let's see. What if my client already uses WooCommerce? Can they easily use commerce integration to Sage, or does the site need to be rebuilt? That's a tricky question, and I hate to say it depends. But what we have to do is make sure that a WooCommerce site is going to be able to operate efficiently with our APIs. And in some instances, if it's a very old site, it hasn't been updated in quite a while. If it's got a lot of things that are not of standard, WordPress and WooCommerce are powerful platforms, and they allow a lot of customizations to take place. So in that instance, we would need to have an overview and see if, in fact, we'd be able to utilize what's already done. And Donovan, you may know the answer to this, but in all of the current implementations, and we've got about 15 underway right now, in the current implementations, I can't think of one where we haven't been able to reutilize what is already in place. But I'll have you answer that one a little more concisely than my guesstimate.
Yeah, it's I would say about half of our implementations currently underway are in that situation where they have or had an existing WordPress site. Some actually had a WooCommerce site as well. The WooCommerce piece is a little bit trickier because we do, um, you know, typically WooCommerce, you would be creating the products inside of WooCommerce, and here it's ERP integrated, so everything comes from the ERP. We need to make sure those align. So typically we will do a fresh build of the WooCommerce products and things, but things like images and stuff, we've made some pretty nice enhancements to WordPress and WooCommerce in terms of being able to apply those images to products. They automatically attribute to them, for example. And again, we're taking the data like product attributes from the ERP and now applying them to the product inside of WooCommerce. You don't have to go that route, but that's, we find a lot of customers have that data already in the ERP. So it makes sense not to reinvent the wheel. But in terms of, customers using a WordPress site today, really, we can keep that entire website and just add the WooCommerce integrated element with commerceBuild into the ERP. And we're doing that in, like I said, about half of the implementations currently had an existing WordPress site, and we were successfully able to very quickly kind of dissect that site and move the pieces over that were relevant to our system.
Thanks, Donovan. So scrap my answer there of it depends. It sounds like it's more of a sure, absolutely, but we'd rather we'd rather put a little asterisk there, make sure that we're evaluating. The worst thing to do is say yes to something and then have to come back and say no, and that's no good for any parties involved. So we strive real hard to not do that. I got one other private message that just came in. If you can share, what are the differences between the current platform of commerceBuild and now your new Headless Engine with WooCommerce? And this is a great question, and hopefully I'll do the answer justice. If you think of the complexity of an ERP, if you've got 100,000 SKUs, 12 different shipping locations, super complex things that are already built inside of your 300x3 or Intacct. Our main platform today, which we're still selling as well, would be fantastic. We believe that WooCommerce will have the opportunity to get there, but if it's a very customized level of X3, for example, there might be areas that upon evaluation we would want to not go the headless approach with WooCommerce. Conversely, if a goal is to have a powerful B2C and B2B platform, WooCommerce has some great features and things that are available to allow for that B2C buying experience to be there. A thing we like about Woo is a lot of optionality when it comes to different aspects of how you can make the platform do exactly what you want it to do. And chances are, instead of us writing customized code inside of our own platform, chances are someone else has already done that, and we're able to utilize a trusted brand. And in a lot of instances, folks like Jess or Bradley actually know the developers that have written it from their prior life. So we're able to have a great experience for somebody that wants to use Headless. And we have some customers that do like the CMS that we provide, and that it is a more closed system. There's not things that and people can add into it, and others like the optionality of Woo and WordPress. So what we're trying to do is offer best of breed and give options that will give a great store live in 90 days or so, an opportunity to really represent a great face of your company and do things that are of the future of API connections and connecting to PIMS and HubSpot and any number of other things. There's a lot of features we already have, but some things that we don't have, we can more easily put into the Woo environment. I hope that helps. I think we're right on the end of time here. So if you'd like to just scan that QR code, that'll take you to a calendar, and we won't go into a high pressure demo, but we can talk about the needs or requirements that you have, and with that, be able to provide a line of different options there. You know, one of the things that we strive to do is make the buying process as transparent as we can. You know, we publish our prices online, and as I shared before, that fixed fee nature and not having gotchas down the road is a really big part of that. If you'd like to drop me an email instead, there it is, or feel free to even call my phone. I will for sure answer and make sure we can have a great conversation. That being said, thank you so much, Megan and Taylor and Donovan, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day. And thanks for attending. We appreciate the time that you've given to us. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.